Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope you are all doing good today and excited for the final exam. Today, I'm going to explain to you what our final exam will be. And for that, as usual, let me share with you what I got here on my computer. Okay. Yeah, the name of this final exam is Let's Make a Cultural Guide. What do I mean by guide here? Guide here can have two meanings. The first one is a guide, something that takes you somewhere, something that takes you to a cultural object, okay? Now, the second meaning of guide here is guide, like the one that you find on Instagram. Instagram has a feature, a new one called guide. This feature aggregates posts that you have made in the past into one area that is called a guide. It's supposed to guide the viewers to several posts that you have made in the past. So that's what you will do today. Yep, you are going to make, as a group, an Instagram guide that will introduce one cultural object to to all people, to a general audience. And now you must be wondering, what is a cultural object? Well, we have done this throughout the semester, but just for the sake of clarity, let me repeat once again what a cultural object is. A cultural object is, using the words of Chris Ward here, a socially meaningful expression that is first audible, visible, and tangible. It can be an object, it can be movements, it can be practices. And if you want to know further about this, you might want to read this book by Chris Ward called Cultures and Societies in the Changing World. The book, in my opinion, is in the same spirit as our course is. And our course focuses on the evolving nature of culture and the hybrid characteristic of any cultural object. Yeah, that's what you are going to do. Find one cultural object from around the world. If possible, try to find from outside your cultural enclave, outside your culture. And that will be beneficial for the audience who will get a chance to read it, or for yourself as a way of learning something. Okay, now the second thing that I also need to show you is, oh my God, there seems to be a problem there in the post. Yeah, this guide includes several Instagram posts. It should aggregate several Instagram posts. And what are the posts going to be about? Well, the posts, which include probably 3, 4, or 5 posts, they need to include first the general introduction to that cultural object. For example, you want to talk about ogoh-ogoh in Wagir. There's a predominantly Hindu community here in Malang, particularly on the slope of Gunung Kawi. Yeah, they have activities or cultural events every year, and it's called ogoh-ogoh and the burning of ogoh-ogoh, just like in Bali, but this one is in East Java. So give a brief introduction or a general introduction of that cultural object. And then you need to also give the background of where this cultural object is usually found. If it is in Wagir, for example, then tell the audience what Wagir is, where it is, or where in East Java it is, and basically to provide the geographical information about the place. That's why I put the image of a map here. And then after that, you need to give a detailed description of the various aspects of this particular cultural object. If it is called the celebration of Nyepi using ogoh-ogoh in Wagir, then you need to explain the elements such as the practices that people do before making the ogoh-ogoh, and what people use to make ogoh-ogoh, and what ogoh-ogoh is, and so on. These various aspects of cultural object need to be explained to a general audience. And finally, as usual, I want you to draw a conclusion or interpret the meaning or significance of this cultural object. As I mentioned to you earlier from Griswold, this audible, visible, and sensible and tangible object has a significance, cultural significance or social significance. And that's what I want you to try to explain further, okay? And yeah, this is just tips for you. Please, when you make this guide, include images, of course, texts, which I haven't mentioned here, sound, and also videos if possible. And if you take the sources from YouTube or somewhere, mention the source, or at least get some permission to use that particular source. Or even better, if you want to show one tradition and you don't have the video, you might want to perform it yourself just to demonstrate what it is like. And then videotape yourself and post it so that people can learn something from it. You are here to introduce this cultural object. So you are not doing it because you want to overtake it, okay? Yeah, you want to introduce culture to a wider audience. All right, finally, when are the deadlines? The first one is the idea for the project. I want you to submit it by the end of this week, okay, before the final exam. I want you to at least know what you plan to do. Even better if you can already start preparing the materials for this guide. And in week 16 or the final exam week, you need to submit to me the completed guide. And it should be as a link. Now, you might be wondering what a guide looks like. Now, let me share something else with you, which is a guide that we have made here for Prodi Sasing at Universitas Chung. Where is it? Let me. Give me a second, okay, everyone? All right. Here's what I wanted to share with you. There you go. You can see it now, right? This is our department Instagram account. And there you have posts, guides, reels, videos, and so on. You might still not have guides if you haven't made one. But once you make one, you will have this menu there. So these are examples of guides. Let me guide you through this one. So this guide is called Mengenal Prodi Sastra Inggris UMJ, Universitas Chung. Now, when you create a guide, first of all, you will be prompted to give a title. That's when you need to give the title. And then you give a brief description of what this guide will be about. And then you will need to post one thing. The post here is from your Instagram post. but you still need to give it a title for post number 1, visi dan misi, and posting ini memperkenalkan visi atau dan misi prodi sastra Inggris and so on. There's a typo. Oh my God. Okay. Now, this is actually one post. If you click this, then you will go to the Instagram post. This Instagram post has several images because it's a carousel. And it also needs its own caption. So what you need to do when you want to create a guide is, first of all, of course, you plan what you want to post. Second, you make the posts. You need to make 4 or 5 posts. And then after you're done with the post, along with the captions, you start making the guide. The guide will aggregate the 4 or 5 posts that you have made into one guide like this. And if you already have the guide, then it will include several posts. For this one, for example, we have visi misi, we have curriculum, and we have siapa saja dosennya. That's it. And that's supposed to be an introduction to all of you if you haven't had the chance to know about your own department. By the way, we still have 399 followers. That's a small number. Can you guys help us find more followers? And now I'm going to give you another example of a post. Here is another guide on sastra Inggris hari ini, or the current state of English literature. Here we have Clarissa and her participation in Kampus Mengajar, and there's also Amy and her thesis of developing teaching media. So that's all, everyone. I hope that's clear enough for you, and you can start making your guide. First of all, of course, this is a requirement for this class. You will need to do this if you want to have the grade to pass the course. But most importantly, I want you to use this opportunity as an attempt to introduce people to one cultural object that people might not be familiar with, okay? So with that, I'm looking forward to seeing your guides. Guide me through your cultural object. Bye.